the Popish Plot. I'm Nate.
I'm Jessica.
And I'm Mike.
Today, we're here to talk about a fantastic saint, one that either has been mentioned previously or will be mentioned shortly in another video.
Who knows?
It's all timey-wimey. We record a whole bunch of these things at once. Shh.
Don't tell them how the sausage is made.
All right. Anyway,
But anyways,
it's a saint who has many great properties, like being a girl with a name I can pronounce and sort of a princess.
With a crown and
I
everything.
really should have started with that.
Do you want to restart?
No.
No.
We're rolling.
This is great.
This is gold. We're talking about Bridget of Sweden.
Yes.
So she was born in 1301 in Uppland, Sweden, and she died July 23rd, 1373. You know, that's really specific. You don't usually, with ones that are that old, you don't usually get like dates.
Well, but
It was like around here, you know.
she was close to the center of power, so they were keeping track.
Yeah, she did die in Rome of the Papal States.
Oh, that's fair.
Rome.
So often things that you will see in attributes that you will see in like iconography include a crown, a staff and bag, a book, and a habit. Notes here say pilgrim's hat ?
According to the official things, it says pilgrim's hat is one of her things, but I've literally never seen her dressed in a icon of any sort of her life during that time. I've seen lots of the habit, because the habit's distinctive, with the crown, which is part of the habit, and the various things that she's holding. Totally that, but I've never... And a pilgrim's hat apparently was a style of hat that was like a really big floppy hat.
To protect you from the sun when you're on pilgrimage.
Yes.
Her patronage is really going to surprise you. Bridget of Sweden was patron of, wait for it, Sweden,
Huh. Who would have thunk it?
Europe, and widows.
Yeah, I think there's like 6 of them of Europe now.
Yeah, it's 6 or 7 that are like all of Europe.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, she was a mystic, a lady in waiting, a founder of a religious order,
That's a great way to become a saint.
and the mother of another saint.
That's impressive.
That's a thing that really goes on your permanent record right there.
Not saying the other stuff's not impressive, but...
No, but
And although I can say her English-sized name, if you guys want to go over her like actual name she was more known as in her life, that would probably be helpful.
well,
So we know her as Bridget, but that's not really a Swedish name.
No.
In Swedish, she'd be called Birgitta.
Birgitta Birgersdotter.
Yes,
means-
that was her birth name.
Which means Birgitta, the daughter of Birger.
Yeah.
A.K.A. Birgitta of Vadstena, or Saint Birgitta,
And she was also called a princess,
of Neresia,
which is an area in Sweden.
Sweden.
All right. She was canonized in 1391 by...
That's only 18 years after she died.
I mean,
That's wicked fast.
it's
Yeah.
not the fastest, but that's pretty quick.
Well, nobody's faster than Peter Verona.
by Pope Boniface IX.
St. Anthony was the less than a year.
Verona's less than that.
I love the name Boniface.
Here's the thing, though. Boniface. Yeah. Not a great pope.
Boniface.
Bonyface.
Just because it's
Bony
fun
face.
to mispronounce his
I
name
like
has nothing to do with
pronouncing
it.
it as Bonyface.
It is fun.
Yes, in the Council of Basel in 1436, when basically said that her revelations were within the realm of possible Catholic belief.
Basically, they gave it the imprimatur on there that says, "Yeah, no, this is fine.
There's
You
no
can
error.
believe in this."
Yeah.
There's no theological
There's-
error.
There's
You're not
nothing.
required to believe any of it, but it's okay.
Yeah, there's nothing outstandingly wrong with what was revealed to her.
She was the daughter of a knight and a noblewoman, and in some things I've read, it was more like a chieftain level, where, you know, he wasn't in charge of everything, but he had his own area.
Sure. Sure.
She was married around 1314-ish to Ulf.
Ulf Gudmarsson,
Nice.
the Lord of Nerk. Once again, Swedish is not
Narky.
my language. I'm just guessing. If you know how it should be pronounced, though, please go down into the comments and give me some sort of like phonetics.
Yeah, phonetics, not IPA, please.
Yeah.
They had 8 kids together.
Ooh.
4 boys, 4 were girls.
Nice split.
Nice even, yep. Known for charity to unwed mothers and children.
And they need it.
Yep.
At around 30, she was called to be a lady in waiting to the Queen of Sweden.
Nice.
So, high-ranking noble stuff. And then a little bit later, in 1341, her and her husband went on a pilgrimage doing the El Camino.
Santiago de Compostela.
With the giant thurible.
I'd hope so.
Yes,
I mean-
so the famous Camino. The pilgrimage through, it started in various parts of Europe, concludes in Spain at Santiago de Compostela.
I mean, I imagine being, at that time she largely was in Sweden, so I imagine they started in Sweden and then, hit on probably pretty near the start of the track.
So do you think they went landwise around through Russia or boatwise to Denmark?
I would say boatwise through Denmark.
Okay.
Maybe down the Rhine.
Anyway, unfortunately, he passed away soon after they returned from their trip.
Tragedy.
It's unfortunate.
But although most of the stuff implies that for the time, and given the fact that it was probably, somewhat of a arranged level of marriage, they had a fairly decent marriage.
Yeah.
She did enjoy being a widow. So she then became a third order Franciscan, and that gave her more time to care for the sick, to care for the poor, and
the unwed mothers and children, and yeah.
And then later on, she made her own religious order. It was called the Order of the Most Holy Savior.
The Bridgetines.
And that was an unusual order at the time because they had double monasteries. So, although it was separated by walls in the same, complex, they'd have
men on one side,
and
women
nuns
on the other.
Yep.
And although, as you would expect from someone who picked being a Franciscan, they lived poorly, they were allowed to have as many books as they wanted.
Nice.
Which, back then, books were super expensive because you were still handwriting them.
But a monastery was a good place to collect them.
And, of course, one of the things she is, well known for is she, along with all the Catherines, went to work to make the Pope go back to Rome.
All the Catherines.
And once she succeeded, at least for the time, that Pope went back to Rome. She spent the rest of her life in Rome.
Nice.
She worked to get the Pope to move back to Rome with her daughter.
Yes, her daughter was one of the Catherines.
I'm just saying.
I feel like she lived the rest of her life in Rome just to make sure he didn't sneak out and go back to France.
Well, there was a very high probability of that happening, so that's a good move. That's why she's a saint.
You can see them moving through St. Peter's Square, and she just walks by and goes.
And then he slinks back.
She also spent the rest of her time, besides keeping an eye on the Pope, doing good works and urging various church reforms that needed to be done.
Again, getting the Pope back to Rome was not the only thing. That was one piece of the puzzle. The church was badly in need of reform at this point.
And sometime during that time, she did sneak off. I'm assuming she didn't tell the Pope. She's like, I'm watching you. And then she just snuck off to take a pilgrimage to the Holy Land as well.
I got a whole religious order. Somebody's always watching.
So, he's like, I wish we invented metal detectors. Why? Because then they'd go off whenever her nun showed up.
Nate?
She started having visions of Jesus on the cross around age 10.
Wow.
She had many visions in her life, and they were recorded in her book.
This is a modern version, as the original one was called Celestial Revelations.
Yes,
Ooh.
yes. The Revelaciones Celestes,
which she either told to her confessor to have him write in Latin, or she wrote in whatever language she could read, and then he translated it into Latin for her, because that's going to be more, the universally known one at the time.
Yeah.
Her visions of Jesus' nativity greatly influenced art of her time. Included Jesus on top of
Wait. All right, imagine a nativity scene. Now he's going to read what her vision was and see where it's coming from.
You're saying it may have changed in the last 800 years.
No, I'm saying it's still, pretty much spot on. You buy a Hallmark card with this picture.
She's the one who set the pattern. Here we go.
Jesus on top of the clothes, not swaddled.
Yep. He's in the feeding trough, layer of clothes, baby on top.
Mary kneeling in prayer with blonde hair.
Because again, she was Swedish. If Mary appeared to her, she'd probably be blonde.
Enculturation.
An ox and a donkey.
Yep.
Joseph carrying a candle,
Or like a lantern.
Yep.
and God the Father above the scene.
That one isn't always in the Christmas thing.
But you get the little, but you get the dove of the Spirit that usually hovers
Or a
at the
star or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Except for the God the Father hovering, totally.
Yeah. And actually, now I want one with God the Father hovering just above the scene.
I imagine it's,
Actually, I think the star works because because quite too often when we want to try and envision God the Father, we put him into a picture of something that has parts.
Yeah.
A body with arms and legs.
Well, how else do we picture it?
But I'm saying a star works very well in that it's an amorphous object that's it's all encompassing kind of a thing.
Well, one of my favorite paintings of the Annunciation, it's fairly modern, is Mary kind of recoiling in fright of the angel who is essentially just a shaft of light. You're not a discreetly human figure with cute little wings.
Exactly.
I like the version of that that clearly was done in the 1950s because she's literally wearing like Mary Jane shoes in that picture.
Nice.
But I imagine it's kind of like the picture was probably going to be more like in the Trinity Cross where there's like the old, vision of God and he's, kind of hovering like that. Like, his arms are outstretched on the edge of the, building type thing.
The Ancient of Days, long white beard.
Yeah.
She also is known for having visions of purgatory and predicting that Vatican City would happen.
And she also probably...
What does that mean?
Oh, sorry.
Like the Papal States would end and there would just be a Vatican, just this little remnant?
Possibly that, or like that he would essentially, have his own smaller area within the papals. I didn't bother reading through it. I'm probably, have it somewhere, but,
No worries. We carry on.
She also possibly created the devotion of the 15 Our Father and Hail Marys, or the 15 O's, as the prayers to be said with the Our Fathers and Hail Marys started with O. Our Father, who are,
Well, there was, you say the 15 and the 15, and then there are extra prayers you say with
Oh.
her. And it's one of those things where it's attributed to her, and it connects with her visions, but it didn't show up in popularity until after she was gone.
It didn't
so
directly originate with her.
Well, it could have. It could have been something that just her, nuns and monks did, but it's one of those ones where we're not 100% she invented it, but it connects with her.
Sure.
The prayer was based on the belief that she had a vision of Jesus who said he had 5,480 blows to his body during his passion. So if you said the prayers every day for a year, it would equal 5,480 prayers.
So 15 prayers a day, 365 days in a year.
Yeah.
So don't do this in a leap year.
No. Well, I mean, you can. By all means, if you feel called to, do it all the time.
It was like 45 a day because you got 15 Our Fathers, 15 Hail Marys, and then 15 of the ones that started with O. I didn't bother doing the math.
We're doing math. We're doing math live on the show.
Or it could be that they counted all, 15 times 3.
Yeah, 15.
Okay.
But there's a remainder.
Ah.
How do we account for that prayerful remainder?
I don't know.
Say a glory be.
Nice.
The end, just for good measure.
Also, I am not 100% sure which calendar she was on because I didn't bother looking up when we switched calendars.
Well, but yeah. Strictly speaking, I don't know how many days are in the Julian calendar.
So that's what we have for you today on Saint Bridget of Sweden,
Or Brigitta.
or Brigitta.
It's fun to say Brigitta.
I actually
It is.
I actually used to work with a lady named Brigitta.
And I can also spell it Brigida. It's just,
Again, this is the vital component.
Now, if you have anything to add to Saint Bridget of Sweden, like some of the phonetical pronunciations that we totally got wrong,
Yeah, do you know how to pronounce Swedish words?
please go down below into the comments and put those in there, because I'd rather not live in ignorance.
or
But not so much that we're going to look it up ourselves.
But not so much that I'm going to do the work to prevent myself from it.
Or if you have a factoid about any of the St. Elizabeths of insert country here, just tell it and don't tell us which St. Elizabeth. We can all guess which one it is.
Do you have
Or any of the Saints Catherine.
Yeah, if you have a favorite Saint Catherine, tell us what it is that you like about that particular Saint Catherine.
Was it yelling at the Pope to go back to Rome?
Man up, Pope! She was awesome.
While you're down
Just
there,
imagining them like the mean girls, all yelling at them. It in no way fits with anything I know about any of these
Not at all.
saints.
Not even remotely. But
I'm pretty sure they didn't insist on wearing pink on Wednesdays.
Of course, they only wore pink twice a year.
Unless they're the Pink Sisters.
While you're
while
you're down there by the comments, go and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button and the bell next to it so you get notified when we have new episodes coming out. And until next time, remember to live your faith.
Love your faith.
Share that love.
They're yelling at the Pope. On Gaudete Sunday, we wear pink.
Hey, real priests wear pink.